Um, oh gosh, that was a censored thought. I saw that one getting played out at speed of thought. Um, Talking about out of the darkness and into the light, concepts applied disruption of the black market against hemp and things like that. We're doing pretty good state by state. Um, Something else, and it was a censored thought. It was analogous or comparative to that. Um, Weaponized neurolinguistic programming. I forgot it. It was a virtue, I think, discussion within some of this stuff. Stopping remote torture, rape. That's definitely virtue in the fight against good and evil. What Armageddon or apocalypse often is, and at the last moment, um, EMF perps wanted to make sure they weren't defined, literal, incarnate, cloaked behind in the EMF, not even mentioned. They try to make sure they're out of the definition in every way, shape, or form they could of the fullest definition of evil I've ever read in my life as a liberal, arts, well-educated, Western civ white guy. Really big deal there when you're talking about the fight against good and evil. And I'm humiliated, not just humbled, on all of this stuff that went on in the EMF before and after, before, military intel, police, all this stuff, and then when you take it away as a TI, it's cool. It's very disabling, and in some ways, I got to be a lot less pie in the sky or idealistic about it and Pollyannish about. There may be some people that really, really do deserve to be TI, and I was one of those the political dissident types that got mixed up in something I didn't see coming because I wasn't schooled in the intel because they're systematically, obsessively, deceptively underestimated to prey on our youth planet-wide until our 80s from the EMF. So disclosures about the gear used to perp me, give me NLP, that's out of darkness into light, concepts applied. What else? There was another, stop and rape codes, that's definitely a feather in the cap of the fight against good and evil for us with the N52 level magnets. The synthetic telepathy agenda unfolds. Know to spot false flags. Don't trust your impulses, TI, because they're being manipulated. People can be made artificially ugly with the tech, or faked as a first person on first meet, and then it's not the real person. Don't judge by first impression. Always give a second look. Yeah, 5,000 at this TI have come at me in one way, shape, or form in 15 years. I've almost died. Kevin Christian gets beat down like I do, and that guy's been shot. And he's like, it's worse than getting shot. So I often walk around with a even sanitized pleasure from, the biochemical level or from the EMF because I'm being tortured. And normally have a pretty sunny disposition and am polite, and it pleases me. I get pleasure being polite to people. It's in my Christian disposition. Buddhist loving kindness. Loving kindness was in my DNA from my youth. And in the youth socialization process, that may not get you so far with bullies and stuff like that. So I rang some nuts on my chin at about 40 of a chin nutter criticizing my loving kindness because I was polite to people, and a jab. NLP, maybe even early, kids can be mean, sort of stuff. And I've psychoanalyzed the Butters character. His parents are the NSA, or they took away his home protection, and the foil caps because he's a TI. And when I say he's a rough parent, he has handlers and EMF perps. There's some scenes of like Butter's parents like laying the fuck into the fourth grader, like, "Roar!" Like, and so in the analogous like MK Ultra, art imitating life, life imitating art. We're all TI. It's common human experience. That's a cartoon, but I'm really getting tortured, along with 1.5 million Americans. But I was like, okay, I think Butters is a TI. I think I get it now. A story that I don't want to forget. Here's an example of satanic misdirection with people and this human trafficking and using fake people technology to fake people close to you. There's this woman, I think she goes by Queen Esther on Twitter, and she's a tortured, targeted individual, and she's been used for the sex industry, slavery, and she's in the program, and she gets all kinds of EMF programming, like some of the Jesus programming, but it's really a faked EMF person, and it's important to know that no monitor is ever going to be really Jesus from here to the moon, and that's the truth. But she's still misled, and she talked about how her sister put her into the program, threw her under the bus with the CIA, and she still hates her sister. I don't know how many years later. I met her watching her story on Twitter, and she would bring up her sister occasionally, and it dawned on me later, recalling some of the satanic misdirection with people that's been used to like fake my dad's presence, say something and do something horrible, and then I think it's really my dad that did it, and it really wasn't my dad because that was an EMF perp. Faking my dad, his presence with this blue beam tech and the headgear. Anyways, so tragedy, because our lives are tragic as TI. I mean, she's a sex slave. She's having to have sex with people she doesn't want to because she's under mind control. It's a crime. Huge understatement. Anyways, I have a lot of empathy for her. And I'm thinking back to this stuff, and I can't even get on Twitter right now because they stole my cell phone. And it may be really hard to even deprogram her, but like to be like, and some of the people that know the synthetic telepathy and like the military and stuff like that are like, it's so difficult to deprogram people that take the bait and think it's wizards and angles when it's guys passed out mind control addicts in other locations. So where was I? The Twitter account. So what this human capitalist, human trafficker appeared as her sister, destroyed the relationship in satanic misdirection with people, threw her into the program, and then she thinks it's the sister that did it. So destroy that relationship, isolate her more, and then she never knew it was an EMF perpetrator faking her sister and hates her sister for the rest of her life, and is used and abused like all STI. And that's who I talk shit to, like, too much, actually. And I think I'm funny, but it's fairly therapeutic for a TI, feeling so boxed in and challenged every 15 to 20 seconds, kept off balance, asymmetric warfare, and such and so forth. So deep thought news and memes and this tech, like TIs understand, and voodoo has been enabled in no good ways also. So, yep. Curly locks because I can't afford haircuts. Growing out my beard because I didn't know I'd live long enough to do it. Tortured every day still on the fifth estate. So yeah. And Sweet Tea, my southern affected voice, through blue beam technology, speed of thought, archetypes, stuff, MK Ultra shit, false flag shit that I don't understand. My voice that I thought was so innocent and fun and fighting back with NLP is a bluebird in ways that like separate me from that, and somebody could be faking, So humble pie for me, it's like my buddy Zimmerman character in a way. Like I said, I did a modest good impression of Bobby Dooley from the Phil Hendry Show. Probably X-rated content for sure because I'm being tortured and making fun of my torturers. But yeah, Sweetie, a perps on this perp at speed of thought are separated out in groups by those aiming to deceive. They wouldn't even let him hear me use a childhood trained, modestly voice acting skill that's been weaponized. So I really didn't see all that coming. So deceived myself. But when the perp checked in, she's like, I didn't even hear the voice. I'm like, whoa. Yeah.